Hello and welcome to the Treasured Page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. We're having a look at soft cover junk journals today using fabric. So if you're following along and you're journaling along with me, all the videos that I'm putting out to do with this journal, the French Linen Botanical Journal, is all going to be in a playlist on my channel. And you would go there and have a look for French Linen Botanical Journal. Every video to do with this, so all the measurements, all the paper dyeing, all the paper cutting, all the fabric cutting, and everything we will be doing within this journal for the month of August and perhaps taking it through to September, we'll see how we go, will be in this one playlist. Okay, so this is a series. If you're tuning in for the coffee pot challenge today, absolutely fine, we're doing that as well. We're rolling everything into one, and everything for the coffee pot challenges will also be in a separate playlist, so this video will be appearing in two playlists. Clever stuff. Okay, I'm going to be pulling 3 cards from my tin today. I've put all of my supplies in here and I want to pull those out and then we can see what we're going to make. I'll give them a shake and we're going to have a look and see what we've got here. Okay, so we've got that one, that one, that one. Don't know what that was. Okay, rubber stamp, ink effect, ephemera. Right? Okay, that's fine. So we'll go with that. Rubber stamp, ink effect, and ephemera. Okay, fine. So we're going to also incorporate this into the making of the journal. So that's fine. Putting those to one side to allow me to just think on that, I'm going to tell you how much fabric that we're trying to need, and then what you can do is you can go away and cut your fabric, and then you'll be ahead of the game for when we want to put this together over the weekend, which will be on Sunday. Right, so I'm thinking, because of this, I'm going with this as my guide. We ended up with quite a wide spine, and I'm thinking it's similar to the width of my ruler, which is 1.5 inches. So I'm going to leave an allowance for 1.5 inches for my pages. I've got a stack of 24 pages here. That's what you're going to need if you would like to make this journal. 24 pages, I've dyed them, and if you'd like to look at that, that's in the part 1 video of the French Linen Botanical Journal playlist. When I made this, I left an inch here that stuck out from my pages. I left 1 whole inch, and as the journal grew, the cover was able to mould itself around the pages, and actually now it sort of folds in and it protects them, which is really nice. You can leave an inch. You decide. It's either 1 inch or a 3/4. I'm going to use a 3/4 because I can always extend and put extra bits in if I want it to come out any further, which I probably won't. So the total length you're going to need is 17. Just measure again. 17 inches. I said 20 because that would give us a scrap of 3 inches, which I thought would be quite nice if we wanted to make anything extra, but you won't need that for the project. So you just need 17 inches. But what I'm trying to achieve here is a ripped torn edge, and sometimes we can go out of that if the rip goes a bit funny. So it just depends on the fabric. It may be for the first attempt, if this is your first attempt with fabric, to cut it. So I'm going with 17. I'm quite comfortable with that. And because I've told you 9 on the first video, I shall go with 9. Because I don't really want a great big overhang at the top or the bottom. So going to need to measure out yourself from the top of the fabric 17 inches. So that goes right up to the edge, 17 inches, and then on the wrong side of your fabric you can make a mark. So that's where you will make a cut, and then you want 9 inches down, and if you would like it a wee bit longer you could go 9.5, and I'm just going to make a mark there as well. Okay, so now I've made my mark. At this point I would normally be getting the cutting mat out, getting a rotary cutter and putting it under a nice Perspex block and doing it all properly. But in the interest of junk journaling, and not everybody has these things to hand, we're just going to be doing it in a very loose, basic way, and it doesn't matter if we're not completely straight. I just want to make my cut where I want my cut. I'm going to tear it because I want the fray of the fabric, but I'm also very mindful that I don't want to lose width of my fabric, so I'm just doing it very gently and pulling it apart as evenly as I can in a controlled tear, if that's possible. All right, so now we've got that, which went up and just over my marker. Then I'm going to do the same thing from this outer edge. I'm going to keep this salvage edge here because I like the fray, and that's also a bit that I wouldn't use if I was quilting, and so that would be and ultimately be a scrap. So I'm just going to do the same thing, tearing down in a controlled way. Now if I am too haphazard with it, it will go off center, and we're coming down to there. Just gently ripping, and hopefully it will rip on its exactly the right point. Hopefully. Some vintage fabrics don't, they have a bit of a mind of their own. If you can see you think you're going to go wonky, get your scissors out, measure it and do it properly. All right, so there's the scrap that you're ending up with. And we can then make something else to either match or to go in the journal. But we've now got a nice scrap to play with, so let's have a look. All right, take away some of the loose threads, and now we've got a nice frayed edge on most of the sides. This one was a cut edge, and you can see the difference. This will be the back of my journal. This is going to be the front. I think I'd like to iron that because of the creases, but let's just check that all worked out. Lovely. That's pretty good, isn't it? And then we've got all the spine there. So this is the first glimpse of the journal. Gosh, that's very beautiful. Right, and then I can look at it and think, where do I want to take that? I really like that. I love the neutral tone. You then need to ideally do, well, you need to do one more, but you also should probably do another one. On this one I used 3 fabrics layers. You don't have to. I've only said 2 the other day, so a 3rd is an extra step. These fabrics I got because I liked that, and I'm going to cut that out, and I shall sort of have that on there like a sewed on piece or a stuck down piece. So that's going to happen. And probably similar to this, I just picked up these linens because I wanted to use them within the journal as well. And then I've got this one, which could well be my inside. And I've got a plain one here, which I found, which I think I'll do another layer of. I like this edge very much, so we're going to try and incorporate that just a little bit at a time. Perfect. Then I would like very much if it would tear to meet up there. So it didn't want to do it, so I'm just going to give it a little bit more of a nudge, see if we can get it going this way, because some fabrics will tear one way but they won't tear the other way. Oh, this is one of them. Okay. Oh, it's a nice linen. That's lovely. Okay, we got it. We did it. We did it. Phew-wee, we got through that bit. All right, so now we can have a look and see. Then you get this double fray business happening. And then just using this as my guide. A little nick in it up here and one here. All right, and then tear this one down. Okay, easy. Easy. Okay, this is great. So we've got our fabric pieces now, which are 9 inches by 17 inches. If you wanted to do it slightly bigger, you may have added on an extra ½ inch either side. Doesn't matter, it's entirely up to you. If you were limited on your fabric and you had to do it precisely, but maybe you've come in a bit or you've gone a bit wonky or wrong in your mind, it isn't wrong. It can't be wrong, because what we have is paper, and paper can be shortened quite easily and quickly without messing about with the fabric. So whatever your fabric is, that dictates the pages, not the other way round as it may have appeared here. So if you have got something, you really want a nice good 1/4 inch or ½ inch all the way around your pages, so you can now trim your pages to fit your fabric, not the other way round. This is a very, very simple way of putting a soft cover fabric journal together. It does require 3 layers, but even that it doesn't. You could dispense with the middle one and that'd be fine. But I think it is nicer to have that thickness. And then what we're going to have is some card that gives some strength to it. And last time I used a card that was the same thickness as a greeting card or maybe a file folder. But today, because I haven't got either of those things to hand, I'm going to be using in this project cereal packaging. Because that's great. That's fine. It needs to have a nice flex to it. And that's all we need, something like that. Any traditional cardboard packaging for cereal, crackers, nothing too smelly or food, nothing that food has touched, just something like that. So cornflake packet, whatever you can get your hands on. And then you want to cut that to the same size as your pages. So we'll do that in a minute. And then if you've got scraps left over from your ripping fabric, you can now sort of see how they could be incorporated however you would like. So we could develop a cute little pocket at the back here by lining that with some card, and or we could have something additional on the back as a tuck. So we can look at this and assemble the whole thing on Sunday. So that's what we're going to do now. Is cut our card for inside, so we're going to get everything ready, and then these bits were the hinge pieces. We're going to look at those as well today. So whatever your page size is, you need to allow 1/4 inch higher or lower than the page size, ideally on either side. So on this one, I just need to cut out the width of the box there, but I just need to extend it out by 1/4 inch on either side. So I'll just do that very loosely. So I'll do the same on the other panel from the box. And we'll keep that longer piece because that could be the spine. That's better. Okay, so now it doesn't matter about those bits because there are extra wibbly bits that will help fold it round. So that is going to be part of the soft journal. And then here we want to have, that's right, so we just want to cut off those. This is going to be the spine. So we take the ruler, hold it on there, and we just cut it down to the width of the ruler. 1½ inches for the spine. Okay, so we put that like that, that like that, then we want one more, and then we've got our journal, haven't we? So that's easy, so we can do that. So we're all right with that because that is just, you know, that is just stuff For the people in the UK, that is just Blue Peter stuff, isn't it? You'll know what I mean by that. That is just when we were children, we were watching how to do art and crafts. Everybody could cut out some packaging. We'll be all right with this. You've got this. So just 1.5 inches. And if you feel you want to have a wider spine because you'd like to add more paper, that's fine. It's going to be 12 pages in each signature. So that'll be one signature and that'll be the other. So that, and we'll have a little bit, we'll have a nice gap there so that we'll be able to add more things without it taking too much strain and having that wide gaping bit at the front. So it should work quite nicely and not put too much strain on the binding as we put more in. If you've got any torn bits like this, please don't worry. We can either trap that into the hinge that we're going to make, or we can sew something else or stick something else on the side. If you're worried about sewing and you feel like I might be telling you to sew or get out a sewing machine or something, no, you don't have to. But what you will need if you're not going to sew anything, and you don't have to, is you do need a strong fabric glue. So go down to the craft shop, go and speak to somebody and get the best possible fabric glue that you can. If you have invested in the Fabri Tac or the 3-in-1, that is great. Fabri Tac is going to be great. It is a permanent adhesive and it is a fabric, especially bonds fabric. And the best thing about this glue is that it's waterproof and washable. Therefore, over the time, it's not going to be warping or moving or disintegrating with atmospheric humidity or damp in anybody's country. That's why that's excellent. That's why it's an archival superior glue that you could be using for heirloom pieces. If you would like your journal to be something that you keep and then pass on as an heirloom piece, get your glue right. Everything else can be found. Get good ink, get good glue, decent pair of scissors. What's the other thing we use all the time? Get yourself an ink dauber, get yourself a good ink and invest in a very good glue. And these are the ones that I feel I can trust at the moment. This one is excellent, this Yoo-Hoo glue stick. This old 1920s postcard from Normandy in France, Aromanche, is it just fell out of the drawer actually, and it sparked off my inspiration. Other colours that I'd like to bring in is just these lovely linen natural colour tones. I really think that that's going to be beautiful to have neutral backgrounds to it and then have a little pop of colour. I've got a very pale dusty pinks. I'm going to be using indigo blues, and the one other thing is going to be beautiful teal greens. This is going to be the botanical aspect, will be the greens coming in. So that's the palette there, guys. If you'd like to mimic anything that I'm going to do, this is sort of my mood board of where I will go within that colour range. So it's indigo, beautiful navy blues, and this wonderful teal green colours, and anything that looks soft and sage and green botanics, and then also probably shots of darker greens as well will be coming in, because it is it's going to be botanical as well as this French linen. So it's a fusion of two lovely things that really make me feel happy. And this is our ephemera holder that we made, and that will also be in the playlist. I've squashed it under books and it's now completely sitting how I want it. It's super thin, and this is working with these colours. And if anyone's in the UK, the butterflies are back in the works, guys. Big packs of these butterflies in this natural colour. So that is, you can buy them, I think you can buy them online, www.theworks.co.uk. And then inside, this was the ephemera holder that we made together, which is super quick and how to transform your junk mail. These are the stickers and things that I'm going to add to be able to pull from over the month when I'm putting together this journal with all the nice little bits that I like to grab and add to my tags and extra embellishments and things. I've got things like this that I don't particularly like as one whole piece. I shall be looking out nice images that I've got on scrapbooking paper for fussy cutting as well. That's another thing. Okay, so for the coffee pot challenge, it was rubber stamp, ink effect and ephemera. So I'm just going to cut a bit off here and see if I can rip that. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to get my archival ink. So I've got a black archival ink and I've got my ground espresso little one mini here that I like. I'm going to use a Tim Holtz script stamp. I've got this other one here which is the letter. I think that's a little bit too large and this will be a little faint background, which is what I want. I'm going to do that in the ground espresso. So I'll just put it like that where I can see. And we'll just have a go at this. So I'm just going to put some script stamp down across there. That's it. And okay, so far so good. Just a background, and that worked. So let's do a bit more. I'll probably want this bolder bit of text here. Nice. And then we'll just do all of them. And one last one here. Nice. Okay, now also I'm going to decorate my strips here using the script stamp. Just a little interest there. Put a little bit of decoration on because you will see these. Okay, I've got some larger stamps here. These are Tim Holtz again. And I'm just going to stamp them across the strips. Right, just going to get the block here. I might want to go on an angle. There we go. And then I shall just, in fact, I'll come off and just sort of get as much on there as possible. And we'll do it differently over here. Just a lightly pressing. That's it. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, well that was good. So they're all, now they've all got something interesting going on. Go with a little bit of brown in there. See if that does anything. A little bit. And then just, if you fold them up, now we can see these little hinge pieces are going to look like that. All right, so I'll put those to one side. They look really cool. So now I'm going to just get these in front of me and going to put on some botanicals from this pack and this pack. And then I'm just going to put that down there. Nice firm press. And that's lovely. So that looks like it could go snaking across that bit of fabric there. Oh, isn't that nice? There we go. So there's our vintage linen botanical. And I'm just putting them on the side just in case there's something else we might want to do. Hinge it, stick it, sew something on there. Lots of options. So they're really nice. Lovely to be added to the little extras. All these sort of things can just tuck in, but they will add a bit of bulk. if you start putting too much in. So we could add a few token ones in there like that. Okay, for an ink effect, I've chosen to use Nature's stencils from my garden. I've got a selection of leaves here, which I'm just going to place. I think maybe that way up might be better. I'm just going to see if I can get any sort of impression by using ink sprays. I just want to see if I can just make a little arrangement here. Just where I think that would be quite nice. Okay, I'm using a distressed oxide spray, which is a speckled egg. You could use watered down paint, you could use watercolour in a fine spray bottle, and you could just try something like that in a just a pump spray bottle. We'll have a look. I've mixed it up as best I can. Right, I'm just creating a little barricade with my other pages, and I'm just going to spray directly over the top. Here we go. Trying to avoid me. I can see a bit there, so I'm wondering now if I should leave well alone and just hope that that's just beautiful as it is, or whether I should put some vintage photo on it. What do you think? So, do I see it's developing? I think I'm resist the urge to do more. No, can't resist. Can't resist the urge. Just on this one at least. I'll come at it from a different angle, just 'cause it's a bit plain there. Right, from above. Oh. No, I don't like that. Okay, good. Well, now we know. Now we know we don't like vintage photo doing that. Oh, they're lovely, aren't they? Now I don't know what to do. I don't want to move them. And we probably want a second image. Oh my goodness. Okay guys, we're going to go in with a second image. I now wish I did it on the other side. Something's happened, it's all coming through. Oh wow. Oh, I love that. Oh, that is brilliant. Okay. Oh, we might have to have this one in the journal now. Don't like that bit though, but that's okay. But look at that. That's amazing. Okay, what else have we got? Let's just see if we get anything. So this is ink, an ink effect, and just playing with whatever we've got to hand. None of this has come at a cost because the colour here came from a rusty old tin and garden waste, you know. Oops. Oh, I think I prefer the image that we're getting here, just some leaf prints. That's nice. All right. Okay, so we'll take those away. I don't think we're going to get much. Oh, okay, but that's sweet. But let's have a look what we got. So we've got some ghosting. That's really, really smart. And this one? Oh, guys, that's lovely. That's really good. What a worthwhile thing to have done. Okay, and this one's nice because it's going to be a flip. So we might, we'll decorate inside that. Isn't that inspiring already as one of our pages in this new Botanical linen journal? Love it. Okay, and this one I've got to be a bit careful of because that one just wants to sit and dry. But that looks really nice. What fantastic idea. So this is what happens when you do the coffee pot challenge. It forces you to try something that you just weren't going to do. So here we go, from above. Okay, that was a bit much. And then this one. Ah! This one's all splatty. Right, let's take these off. Yep, there's definitely images. Oh, look, they're good. Just wants to dry. That's beautiful. So that's the ink effect for the coffee pot challenge. Then the rubber stamp. We've made these. So that's great. Done loads of things from the coffee pot challenge this week. So we've made ephemera out of our ink effects and our stamps. We've made ephemera. So I don't think I need to add ephemera because I'm going to do that anyway. So this is ephemera. This is usable insert page with ephemera as made by the ink effects and the rubber stamps. I've just put some ephemera pieces there with the button and the stamps just so that you can see how that would start to look very nice if you wanted to do a cluster with them, or you wanted to sew something on. You could use that. You could have you could team that with lace and it would look wonderful. You could team that with floaty fluffy papers, and all of that's going to look very French boutique in the way that you might want to use cotton laces and embroidery anglaise, things like that. If you've got any of those sort of things, you could bring in this sort of fabric and start layering that up. That would be very nice. And then a rusty pin would be absolutely fun. So these are the sort of things that we'll start to wrap our minds around when we're putting together this journal. So to be organised, that's great. So that's a lovely idea. We'll definitely use those if you want to use a scrap fabric and put some stamps on. They'll be perfect for the journal. And I'll just bring everything back in so that you know what you need to have. So you need to have your 24 pieces of paper. You need to have your strips of paper, which are going to become your hinges. They will be going down the side of each page, and they will be trapping in 2 pages each, and they will be glued on. So we're going to be gluing those on. To work with this, it would be great if you have a precision nib glue bottle, but absolutely don't have to have it. Something stronger than a stick glue would be better. If you could use a pasting tool, like a spreader and some PVA glue, that would be excellent. Something slightly stronger than a stick glue, but if that's all you have, that's okay. If you're a dab hand at sewing, you get away with a stick glue and then you can sew them on. So this would be a good idea. So if you would like to jump ahead of time before the video, what you can do, I'll show you one and then you can see where we're going with it. Okay, so this is my lovely swaps journal. This is the journal that I have done out of all the swaps that I've received, and we started this in 2020 and 2021. Lots of swaps when it was particularly horrible. We were all stuck at home, and this was a lifeline for all the swaps that I've received from people. The journal has been entirely created out of things that were sent to me from wonderful, wonderful women all over the world, and I have yet to put it all together, but I have got the journal and all the pages and everything here, but it's yet to be completely done, and which is fine because I don't care if it takes me the next 10 years. This is something I shall treasure forever. But what I wanted to show you is hello. This is so beautiful. Look at this lovely little card, and it's all been sewn around. Just some fabulous ideas from people that have sent these great, just so simple. It is a digital kit on one side, and then that is a tea stained paper, and then she's just sewn it round in a light, very light colour, pale brown. It just picks up that little squirrel there. I love it. But here is the hinge idea. That's what it's going to look like in the journal. So it's totally stuck. It's really good. It's the same, exactly the same thing. I've used some stained paper there, and it's completely stuck down, and I think I used an art glitter glue for that. And then on the other side, you don't see it because you then get the next one that nestles into it. So that was one with a paint effect on it, and then all the way through. So these are my wonderful swaps, which are all yet to be properly done on the pages, but let's go back further back. So then you might want, if you've got darker pages, you can do a sewn in effect with a zigzag stitch. That looks cool. And then that one's a stuck down one. But this is what we're going to do. Oh, that's the centre page, which is yet to be embellished. But you can see here where I sewed round to do, that's just purely for decoration because the glue was so sufficient it didn't need it, but that was just me doing some decoration. So I shall do, on the next video I will show you how to put the hinges on, but I will give you a heads up now, so if you'd like to start it, that's fine. Now you can get it like this without folding it if you want, and you can stick it down, and then you just bend your paper, you just fold your paper in the normal way. You can do that. If you've already folded them, that's fine too. Just open them out a little bit. I find that this way is easier because then I know where exactly I need to stick them, because I know where my fold is. So they're going in like that. So what you do, very simply, is you get your glue and you just put the glue down. And the most important bit of all of this is getting that edge down there. So you just glue down. If you've got a glue stick with something a little wider, that's great. So this is a real task just to sit and do the gluing. But it's a quiet craft, it's quite nice, you're building something, it's really nice. Just sit with a nice little drink and just to do that, and then you just slot your pages in to the, butt it right up to the crease. Okay, and then it will look like that on the other side. So that's the page right way up. That's how it's going to be sewn into your journal. So just check you've got it in straight. Then you go this way with it and you just do the same again. And then make sure you slide them right in so that crease is going to be there like that. Then you just, once it's dried, you just treat it like any other normal piece of paper, and you just get the crease exactly where you want it. So you straighten them up, you just treat it like one sheet of paper. So that's what that's going to look like. And then at this point, when you've got them all like that, you can make a decision. Do I want to sew it? Do I want to add anything here? Do I want to put an ink effect on there? Am I happy? You just want the pages to look interesting. And if you've got something like that where it's been stained in a funny way, I would probably just go down there with a stencil and maybe just get my stencils. Or maybe there I would put a washi tape or I will probably just leave it, and that's something that I will tackle in the journal depending on what I might be putting in there, or that will be determine, right, we're going to have a tag and it's going there, or I'm going to decorate the whole page, or that's where I'm sticking my ephemera or a document or something. So don't worry too much about how the pages look, because that's the whole fun of what we're going to be doing in the future. We're going to be making that into how we want it. So just treat it like any other piece of paper and fold it into position, just in case anything's gone a bit wonky. Get your pages straight, make a stack of them, go through, get the next one, start gluing, and do the same again. Just fold it over onto that one. So this one is slightly longer than the pages, so I don't quite know how that's possible, because I seem to have got them all lined up at the top. You could just trim off if you're worried about it. Okay. So we've got that in there, and then you can start to see how this sort of thing could come together with just the elements that we've made today. Just a button and a simple tag, and that's a beautiful writing page. You wouldn't want to do any more to that, not really. You might want something up there. We could have a corner tuck there, and then that'd be the beautiful writing space with this little extra up here, or a smaller one maybe. Maybe that's why that one would fit in better over there. Start to come together as a journal sewn in, and then this is where we'd put something else and have a trim there, and then we decorate that bit to all tie in. So that's absolutely really inspiring. And then what you would see is you might have that going in there, so we get that, and then we've got the next page, and then we've got this and this, and this would be the center bit where we'd have the where we do the sewing. So we might want to think of something clever there. Maybe we'll add an envelope and we'll sort of hide things, but we'll tackle that all on Sunday. But this is how this is coming together. So if you'd like to go off now with your binding decorated hinges, you can start building up your pages. You're going to want 24 sheets in total, and if you do want to sew down and make anything more of those, then that is great. I will come to the table with mine all done, all by a few, and I might just do another demo just for anybody that missed it, and then we can make sure that we got everything ready to assemble over the weekend. And then how this would work, if you wanted to put anything here with a dodgy edge, you just cut down anything that sticks out massively like that, cut those off, get one of your hinges, fold it in half, and then just you treat that as in the same way. And then this would become a shorter page, but it would go in just the same, like that. And then I might want to do one on the other side, and then that just feature elsewhere later on in the journal. And when we open it out, that could become the center page for one of the signatures, and then I'll probably do that for the other one as well. So that's my botanical. Right, so a final roundup of what you're going to need to get together is going to be 3 pieces of fabric that we cut today, and they are 17 across in total, so that's 17 across by 9. You're going to need 24 pieces of paper to make your pages, and you're going to need 12 1-inch strips that you start to fold. And then if you've got time and you'd like to jump ahead, you need to stick 2 pages into one of these strips, as I've just shown you, to make your pages. And then they will be going into here, and we will be binding them. And the other thing you're going to need is your card, and I'm suggesting just packaging, and then that will go on there, and we want that, and we want one other panel to fit your fabric the way you've cut it. So do your own measurements, and that will form the soft cover, and then this will be sandwiched within here. So this card will be going in here, and we will be covering it with the final piece of fabric there. So that's what you need to gather together, all of those things, and then that is going to be what we'll need to build this journal over the weekend. So we can just press on with all of that, and then we can get on and enjoy the decoration of it and start. You can add extra elements to the front like that. We can add some lace bits if you'd like to have something peeping through there. Anything that you want, start digging out all the pieces, and we can work out what we might want to bring in or have tucking out. It's just a bit of a play. So that's what's happening this weekend. And if you'd like to come along for the ride and create your own soft journal so that we can get on with our storytelling and see where it's going to take us all, I'd love you to join in. So thank you very much for watching. Do press the bell icon so that you get alerted of when the next video comes out, and make sure you look in the playlist for the French linen botanical journal, and all of these videos to do with this journal will be in there, so you won't lose them. You'll be able to find them, and they will be there forever, and you can tap in and you can pick it up at your own pace anytime. So above everything else, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.